How did you find out about the Utah job, and what appealed to you about the Utah job, maybe aside from it being a chance to be a head coach for the first time?
You know, everything in life is about connections and networking. The senior woman administrator from Minnesota, Chris Voles at the time, was the NCAA rep at the regionals that were held at Illinois. But after we won and we were going to the Final Four, we were able to talk, and so got to know her a little bit. Fern Gardner, the old SWA here, was also on the Division I volleyball committee with Chris Voles. So Fern Gardner asked Chris Voles, are there any young assistants that might be interested in getting in the profession, getting in the head coaching job? And if you do, let me know. So Chris forwarded my name to Fern Gardner. The program was not in great shape. So they wanted someone young and dumb, probably. So I interviewed at the University of Utah, came up for an interview. Didn't even go that great, I think, because he was just like in hardcore interviewing mode. But at the beginning of the interview, I asked Fern Gardner, who else are you interviewing? And she looked at me and said, nobody, don't screw it up. So that story has stuck with me, and Fern and I have had a lot of good laughs about it. But honestly, I don't think I had a choice. Once Fern told me don't screw it up and she offered me the job, I didn't have a choice.
So you get here, early struggles, first couple of seasons, but when did you feel like, okay, I've got this, and I think the program, it's going where I want it to go?
We won 7 matches my first year. When we won 2, everyone was ecstatic that we doubled the win total, and I said we really need to raise our expectations here in the program. But we won 7 matches, then we won 15 the next year, then we won 21 the next year, and then we won 25. So it was quite an extraordinary time. And the greatest thing about that was I truly felt the administration was in the building process with me.
You've had a lot of great players down through the years, but in those early days, was there a player or a couple of players that really helped you kind of instill the philosophy, hey, we're buying in, and then it turned around on the court?
Yeah. Linda Byington was my first ever recruit, and I got her out of Rick's College. And they had a very successful volleyball program. So she came in, and she had opportunities at some really good programs, but she chose to come here. She believed in my vision. And I had to sell my vision early on because the program didn't have a vision at the time. So she came in and was really instrumental in those first couple of years, and then ended up being my assistant for quite some time as well. So she's still a huge Utes supporter, goes to all the football games, all the volleyball matches, and she's still in town. Brenda Barton, now Brenda Wicker, she's our current beach coach. She was with me in the early years. In fact, she was a senior when we didn't make the NCAA tournament in that 5th year. So she bought into the vision of the program early on, and she was one of the first great players. She was an all-conference, all-region player, would have been an All-American had we made the tournament. Another player in the early days was Mickey Connie Barton. Mickey was on the women's basketball team, and we were short-handed in the spring, so I asked Elaine Elliott at the time, could Mickey come in and play with us in the spring? Well, she came in, and she was just such a great athlete, as everybody knows, and she was good. She was recruited for volleyball out of high school as well, so she was going into her senior year for basketball, and she said, I'd love to play both. I said, well, you ask Elaine Elliott. And she goes, no, you ask Elaine Elliott. So I did. I asked Elaine, and she said, yeah, I think that'd be great. So she played volleyball her senior year and her 5th year, just 2 years. But again, was an all-region, is in some of the season history records. So I'd say those 3 players were kind of the key early on.
As you look back and reminisce a little bit this year, is there a game, a match, a moment, a snapshot in your tenure that really stands above the others?
There's a few of them.
Okay.
Can I
Sure.
talk about them? The first time we ever beat BYU was 1994. We had lost to them 10 straight times, something like that. They were the high mark for us. But once we finally got the win at Crimson Court, 3-0, I knew that was the start of something great. So that one, I remember it very clearly. Probably a lot of the wins and great competitions against BYU, those always rank up there. 2019 was a pretty special win at BYU. We beat them in the second round to go to the Sweet 16. Played extremely well. But there were some home matches at the Huntsman Center. One was we beat Washington in a 5-set, 15-13. They were ranked second in the country. Amazing environment and experience. We beat Purdue in the second. We got to host in 2017, first and second rounds. We were the 4th seed, they were the 5th seed, and it was one of the most epic matches that I'll ever remember. We came out ahead at 4 sets to go to the Sweet 16, but we had Adora and I on our team, and I remember she absolutely took that match over. They had 2 All-Americans and professional volleyball players that are still playing today, as Adora is, that were just phenomenal players. But at one point in the 4th set, we knew that Adora and I was going to take over the match, and she did, and it was a great battle.
If I were to ask players down through the years, what's Beth Launiere's philosophy? What does Utah volleyball stand for? What would you hope they say?
I think at the end of the day, we talk a lot about that we're going to work hard and we're trying to enjoy the experience. We're trying to work hard and have fun through this whole process. We talk about the process a lot, and I know that sounds cliche, but the journey truly is where the magic is. And we've had some great journeys, and we've had some challenging journeys, but we try to buy them into that we're going to work hard. When we have red doors that go into Crimson Court. Say, when you walk through those red doors, we're going to do work. But we're going to have fun too. And that has to be part of the process, because being a Division I student athlete and coach is too hard to not have some enjoyable moments. And I hope that they would say that, and we talk about that a lot.
35 years of coaching at one place. Would you have ever thought that 35 years ago? Was that the plan, or did you even have a plan at that point in time? You just wanted to come in and coach?
Yeah, I didn't know much about Utah. I didn't know much about Salt Lake City. I fell in love with it here. I'm a very outdoors person. I love to ski and hike and bike, so I was happy early on. But no, did I expect to be here for my entire career? Absolutely not. Wasn't even in my thought process. People ask me all the time, like, how could you do the same job, for 35 years? To me, it's not the same job ever from one year to the next. And what I love about coaching is that you can, from one year to the next, you need to take a group of individuals and form them into a team. And so, I can teach passing and I can teach blocking and I can do that. But what really lights my fire is taking a group of individuals and forming them into a team. And you've got to find leaders, you've got to find followers, you've got to find what people's roles are, you've got to keep communication up. Through the course of, the year, you hope to have a product at the end, a team, truly a team that's working together. Everyone's bought into their roles, working hard and having fun.
Message to any and all of those student athletes that have played for you down through the years that might be watching this piece or might be at one of the matches?
They are such a part of my experience here. They are what it is about, honestly. I remember big wins, I remember tough losses, but I remember all of them. We had a reunion for my 30th year, and about 70 alumni came back, and we did a banquet, and we had an open mic at the end of the banquet, which I wasn't sure if I wanted to do, but ended up being amazing. There wasn't one story that they told that I didn't remember or know. And to me, that was what I valued and realized, that it really truly was all about them. That there were stories going around and experiences, wins, losses, I don't know, eating Skittles in the back of the van that they thought I didn't know about, and I did. That's what I value now.